Before we forgot to hit record, we talked about Keepers of the Flame, which is out of print,
Yes.
a book that is interviews with people of the community, many of which have now passed. Now,
Yes.
not all of them. Some of these people are still alive and kicking.
Hmm.
But authors have passed, and a number of the people they interviewed were elders, so they've also passed. So it's a little window into um, history of witchcraft and Wicca in America, going back, probably going back to the 60s, I want to say. So some of those elders started out in the 60s. So
Yes. The first edition came out in 2000. No,
yeah.
is that right? 2001.
Oh,
2001.
so 25 years
So
old already. Yeah.
25 years ago. And it's interesting to see the variety
Yeah.
of opinions expressed and thoughts
Yeah.
expressed in the book itself, which is great, of course, to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in the 25 years since the book was written, I'd say that we've probably moved more eclectic in a way.
I certainly agree. I
Yeah.
certainly agree. And yes, you nailed it. The personal first person stories go back to the
Yeah.
60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Um,
For those that don't know, there's sort of a weird history. So 57, 56, they repealed the witchcraft laws in England. Gerald Gardner wrote a book in 57. Um, and that sort of got the ball rolling. Sybil Leek wrote a number of books in the 60s, but also 70s.
mhm,
Um, so these are the authors often that influenced, or people that were contemporaries of the people like Scott Cunningham and um, Big Blue Book of Witchcraft, Buckland,
Raymond
and
Buckland.
Raymond Buckland.
Yeah.
A number of people had interactions with Ray, as they will call him often. So they have personal stories.
Mhm,
Um, and yeah, I'd say it's a little window into the past to see how we got here, and that 25 years ago people didn't all agree, and they don't now, which is good. Also, I think that makes for a sort of a healthy um, variety of opinions.
mhm.
So I'd say less common now is traditional witchcraft, but I'd say traditional witchcraft is a little less favored by today's standards. So um, ageism sometimes gets wrapped up into that. Um, Traditional roles for men and women get wrapped into that. Um, and I think that although many of the elders would feel differently about what I'm about to say, but traditional witchcraft has changed over time. It's altered. You know, they'll say, but there are certain things that never change or should never change. Um, I think that the earth, as our font of inspiration changes, some things do stay the same. So um, There's always be darkness and light, and there'll always be cold and warmth. So I think those will always play a role in the shaping of our religious traditions.
I hear you and support that. It's sort of a interesting evolution of spirituality and science
Yeah,
combining
yeah.
as well.
My teacher, Alexandria, used to say, well, I mean, she was very pro-rights, very pro-woman, very pro-woman. But she would also say with the traditional roles with men and women,
Mhm.
she's like, I don't care whatever you say. Man's never gonna have a baby. And then you'd be like, okay.
Yep, yep.
So not that, and we would always say, but men can be, definitely be loving and supportive, and
Hmm.
men can be a single parent, men can be the mom,
Hmm.
but there just sort of like hits a limit at some point. So this is where the delegation of roles of men and women sort of, I think, came to be. Which is not to say that women didn't hunt. Women hunt with men. They hunted together. We know that to be true. Um, but the roles may have been different. And it may have been women that maybe did more of the agriculture. That's possible. And maybe women invented language. That's also possible. So we shouldn't get too narrow.
I like to allow space to learn more things.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. There are what was it? It was on social media at some point recently. Someone was like, finally, like there's archaeology to point out what have we've always believed. And I was like, oh yeah. And I've known that archaeology is kind of been there for a while because it's my thing. I guess I pay attention to it. But there was evidence that, that women were respected in society. Women
Yeah.
owned land, and women, it was easy to divorce. Um, so, but archaeology will catch up with that and be like, oh, look, there was a female that now they thought it was a guy for a long time. Thought the skeleton was a guy buried with his weapons. May have been buried with servants or pets, dogs, um, of wealth, obviously. And then later come to find out, it's like, wow, this guy was a woman. Turns out
Whoops. Yeah.
he was a she. So, but you'll find that in I don't want to say every culture, but in many cultures.
Mhm.
So, and our tradition, oral tradition, comes from the word of mouth that this is how it is. So if it's at its core, it may have been a matriarchy, but there was the importance and the necessity, there it is, necessity of the men and women coming together to worship, which
Mhm.
is one of the things that may be different in other religions. Which is not to say that we taught separately. So you might teach the men in groups of men, you might teach the women in groups of women, but you'd still come together to worship. There was something that I learned in the Jewish tradition when they're talking about the Sabbath and the Sephiro. They're talking about the woman and the man. They come together for the holiday or the creation of the earth. And I was like, yeah.
Mhm.
Very, very pagan element there. Um, but I'd say that's there's not a lot of things sometimes that will separate us out from other traditions when you kind of pare it down and look at philosophies sometimes. But that's one that's, I guess, core.
Mhm. Balance. Um, and certainly Lady Alexandria had, she accounted for balance within ourselves as well as
Yeah,
without.
yeah,
So,
yeah. You had to be in a place of balance to create magic. Otherwise, you know, it was chaos. And sometimes there's chaos anyway, but we prefer to keep it to a minimum.
yes.
And not that chaos is always bad, but it's unplanned for. And sometimes the more and more things that we have unplanned for that we must then deal with, the
Mhm.
greater the burden is, and the less of the less the joy. So
So, hey, I heard that you found a special object
oh yeah,
in.
we were talking about our Foxcraft oils,
Mhm.
which still bear the name of the Crystal Fox. You can go to the Crystal Fox and find those Foxcraft oils. So that was the store that we opened in 89,
1980, August of 89.
August 10th, 1989. Or was it August 4th?
I think it was the 4th.
4th. The 10th is another important day. The 4th, August 4th. And I remember it's funny that you remind me now because I think we reversed it about 10 or 20 years ago. I remembered the date and then you were like, that's not the date. And then it's like I think probably you found the grand opening.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
I found a grand opening for the Crystal Fox, which would never be like any day that you would guess. It was like December 15th, which I think was the grand reopening. I think there was a soft opening, which was the grand opening for small groups of people,
mhm.
and we were open. And then I think on that, like a couple days later or 2 weeks later, then it was the grand opening that was public where we made flyers. And I think that was December 15th. I always thought it was October 91, but apparently December 91. So
And I thought it was November. So
it could have been November. It honestly could be because grand opening December 15th could be that we were open for business in November.
mhm.
And that totally makes sense. Like I thought it was October. I thought it was like, but it may have been we got access to the building in October. So it may have been like lease day one or something.
Yeah, that's possible.
So, and then I think Alexandria was like, we're going to open in a month.
Mhm.
And then she had to rattle the cages of everybody to get it done. Because I think too much time had passed, and then she was like, we need to be open, which is
Mhm.
true. It's always true. Like even if you're not ready, it's good to be open because you may be a perfectionist, but you have to be generating income. So
Yeah,
yeah,
got to be open.
yeah, and you can agonize over a perfect opening for probably forever. So
Mhm.
best just to unlock the door one day and let the first person walking down the street in. It's like, come on in.
Oh,
So
hey, what's this?
I
Yeah.
remember our first Foxcraft customer,
Remind me.
OB.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Turns out she was a generational witch,
Yes.
and yeah, she was cool. It was nice to see generational witchcraft,
Yes.
like what it was, and you're like, oh, and a lot of times it's a lot simpler than what people make it out to be because
Mhm.
the complications in the many books is the later years, maybe recent history, if you will. I think traditional, going back to the probably the 50s, well, maybe pre-Gardner, those books
Mhm.
are thin. And the reason why they were thin is probably just a long multitude of reasons. Um, but one of which was like, nobody wrote back.
Mhm.
I mean, we did write, and witches did write, and witches were literate. A lot of the pagans that were literate became monks. It's true. I hate to say it, but if you were a pagan monk druid and the year was 700 or 800 and
Mhm.
Christianity rolled up, um, you're like, hey, okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Not everybody, but there were people that, bought into it. And I have said this before, I think some good came out of it, which is to say, I think the, there was an influence on paganism and witchcraft from Christianity, which was actually positive.
Mhm.
So, but we can always talk and argue about that, I guess. But I think that, if someone comes along and they have a good philosophy, it's always going to add to your philosophy that you already have and be like, oh, like I agree, or I disagree, but I agree with these things. So, but let me go get that artifact. Oh, where is it? Oh, I already got
Oh,
it.
handy.
So, so back in I can't even. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Back in the day. So
Day.
Yeah. So that's the Foxcraft. I think I called it the original sign, but it was not the original sign.
So it was the first like really official sign because
Yeah, we
the
settled on this one for a long time, but that was the first one. You have the first one in your hand.
this was the very first one, which I
And you,
created out of colored pencils.
yeah.
You can see my art skills, which haven't really improved since 1989. Um, it has a little water damage from hanging in the front window
Yeah.
of the shop. Um, and actually, you saved this. And one day when I was down at the Crystal Fox, you handed it to me.
Wow. That is great. I mean, of course I saved it. Because I save too much. I lose things, but that's awesome that I saved it and I was able to hand that back to you. That's pretty
Yes. Still has the little holes in it
yeah,
from
the little holes.
where
That's
we had to
right.
put the string through to
Right. That's
hang
right.
it in the window.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We were reminiscing about the oil labels that we made because the oil labels that we made were public domain artwork.
Flip art,
I
yep.
always thought it was like a Tudor rose, but you said it was something different.
I think it is a Tudor rose. It was
So
I I called it a rosette, but I think
it was a Tudor rose. Yeah, we didn't know why we chose the Tudor rose, but we liked that one.
this is pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
But yes, so if you can't imagine a Tudor rose in your mind, it's the white rose. War of the Roses that shows up a bit there for sure. But it's a five-pointed star.
Mhm.
So that's another part of it. Uh, these are the Foxcraft oil labels as they are today. They actually still have the Celtic border that we got from it was a royalty-free um publication of Celtic knotwork from like Dover Publications or something. So we just used scissors and Xerox and things like that to create our labels. And although I do have them printed now, but that Celtic border has been on there since a long time. Gee.
94 maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think we were using those handmade ones at least for the first year, for like maybe the whole year. I mean, maybe 92 we updated it to stickers.
I remember the paper Foxcraft labels that we had
Yeah,
cut and paste and
yeah.
then hand wrote
Hand wrote and then used tape to put the label on because it was just paper.
every single one. And then there were Foxcraft labels that were just plain white, and I think they just said Foxcraft
Yep.
on them.
Yep.
And then you brought it to a whole nother level.
Oh, I put the Celtic border on it.
Yeah.
It was literally just from one of the Dover free artwork things in the store. But yeah,
Yeah.
we
Still.
still we still handwrite 95% of labels. I always thought I was going to print a label for each one, but the thing is, you always end up with labels like too many labels. Like you have to minimum order like 500 or 1,000. There
Mhm.
actually is another way to do it, and I realized there's another way to do it. And on the list of things to do one day, I will
I do still
mull around.
like I like the handwritten aspect still.
Yeah, the handwritten aspect is good. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, we do the herb headers are all printed now. And
Mhm.
the big addition, this will be boring to everybody, is putting a barcode on everything. We don't have barcodes on the oils. They're still like in 1989.
Yeah.
Um, Barcodes are only important for tracking what you've sold. So it's helpful because, by eye you could tell what you sell, but if you need to like run a report or you're like, gosh, how much should I order? I should order a lot of Egyptian musk. It's our best seller. But you could look at a report and be like, oh, you sell this many per year. You want to order more. But more important than anything is just getting out and doing it. So, and not worrying about what the label looks like or what
Yes.
fine.
Got to just do it.
So if you are inspired to open a store, know that you can do it with next to nothing,
With
living in poverty.
m- modular shelving
Yeah,
made by your dad,
true.
cases got at auction from
Yep.
a school. Yeah.
Yeah, things that close down,
Yep.
places go out of business, and you go and look and see what you can find.
Yeah.
Used is always going to be better. I mean, this is the weird thing about used is if it doesn't fall apart in the first year, it's worth keeping.
It's it
So
is
if you
true.
get it used, it's fine. I mean, there's so many things that we got that were secondhand. Um, so yeah. And you can build it yourself. You can build things yourself. So,
Mhm.
maybe, you know, put some braces in your shelves.
Handy hint. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't overload them. Although we still overload ourselves. It's just we've built up the threshold. So I mean, we did bust out a shelf after quite a while. I mean, years of abuse. It finally gave. I think it was a 91 Crystal Fox shelf hammered together with wood without braces. Um, a lot of them held up though. So there is that. So, but build some extra support if you're gonna really
That's
load up your
for
shelf.
somebody. But go do it. Go do the thing.
Go do the thing. Yeah, today's the day.
Today's the day.